Hello, and welcome to this presentation on Smart Food Mobile Application Update. I'm Paul Webster, Project Manager at Smart Food. Project Overview. Smart Food is a technology company in the on-demand food ordering space whose vision is to become the worldwide leader in app-based on-demand food delivery service. Smart Food faces competition from rival applications such as Caviar and Grubhub. Smart Food is to make updates to its existing mobile application, responding to customer feedback which calls for the following features: viewing past orders, and viewing in-progress orders. Project will consist of an agile development phase, incorporating the following functional teams to respond to customer feedback and produce improvements to the application: database, creative, production, and quality assurance. Once the US application is complete, localization will take place in the Japanese and French markets. As of planning, budget has been identified between $475,000 and $515,000. Project Charter. Problem statement. Customers have no reliable way to view order history or track open orders within the application. This lack of features is leading users to abandon the application. With updates, Smart Food aims to retain customers, increasing brand loyalty and revenue. Business case. This update aligns with Smart Food's strategy to gain advantages in app-based on-demand food service industry. This is a very crowded industry, so great features aim to separate Smart Food from the pack, or a differentiation-focused approach. Updates will reduce churn, increase revenue, and reduce service inquiries. The primary goal of this project is to increase customer retention 33%. Secondary goal 1 is to increase 10% revenues for fiscal year 19. And secondary goal 2 is that service calls decrease 50%. High-level scope. For the database, this will be the addition of capabilities limited to the application updates. The application itself will be updates to the iOS and Android applications limited to ordering features. And then localization and validation into Japanese and French markets. Localized dev and QA will follow for both markets. The project will work under the following assumptions. Application updates are limited to the addition of ordering features described. Smart Food brand guidelines remain consistent throughout the project duration. Server capacity can handle a load of 75,000 daily users. No updates to application backend are scheduled to be released during project execution. Data usage required for application updates is in accordance to company data retention and usage policy. Key outcomes. The final outcome is to produce updates to the mobile application to allow customers to interact with their order, which will help retain users and drive revenue, therefore realizing benefits planned by the organization. Providing deliverables created to address organizational goals will provide testing opportunity to ensure the realization of benefits. Users will be tracked to monitor their engagement in sessions with the application. 60% of users do not come back to the application after the first month. Smart Food aims to drop this churn to 40%. Revenue for fiscal year 18 was $5.8 million, and updates to the application are expected to contribute to a conservative 10% revenue growth to $5.83 million. 80% of all customer inquiries are due to lack of ordering transparency. By the end of the application rollout, Smart Food would like to see this figure drop to 40%. Major milestones. As you can see, this project will run from April until the end of November, and we are currently finalizing the project planning phase, which is aimed to end on 4/29. Once all planning documents are sealed and funding is secured, we will move into the Agile phase, which will consist of database, creative, development, QA, and US releases. Over the 4 months, there will be 8 sprints at 2 weeks apiece. Once the US application is finalized, we'll move into the waterfall localization into French and Japanese market phase. The first 2 weeks of September, the copy will be in translation via the vendor we have procured for this project. Once that copy is returned, project managers will send the copy to validation into the local markets to ensure accuracy. This process will take 2 weeks as well. Once the validated copy is returned and approved, we will move into the dev, QA, and release phase for the Japanese and French applications, with full transition planning to take place at the end of November. The project team chart. The US application team is based in San Francisco. At the top of the organization are the investors, the Smart Food executives, and the application program manager. The Smart Food executives act as an intermediary between the investors and application program manager, as well as approve all project-related details. The program manager has reports of the creative manager, both PMs, and the development manager. The red or creative team will be run by the creative manager and have a data engineer, a UX designer, an art director, and a copywriter. The blue or development team will be led by the development manager, have a Dev 2, a Dev 1, and 2 QA analysts. PM will have some authority over functional team members under the strong matrix system, but ultimately these members will report to their functional manager. The blue PM, or the development PM, will also be responsibility to run the localization phase and be in contact with the vendor. During the sprints, it is important that the application receives approval from security and legal counsel. Both of these officers sit in San Francisco, so are able to work closely with our application team. Finally, there are 2 local offices in Tokyo and Paris. We will be in contact with their director and product marketing manager. The product marketing manager will be responsible for the validation of the copy, as well as take charge of the application once it is transitioned in November. Key risks and mitigation. Key risks identified as high on our probability impact matrix assessment are shown below. Key risks are to be highly prioritized, where the risk owner is to monitor and implement controls as needed. We looked at various categories of risk, and these were identified as high. Schedule risk, a delay, error in translations from the localization vendor, or additional scope. Financial risks, elimination of funding and cost escalation. Resource risks was vendor reliability, and environmental risks was market rejection of the updates. To counter these risks, we have developed strategies, and there are many more you can find in the project plan. But these mitigation strategies are steps to reduce adverse effects. There are multiple risk mitigation strategies that will be utilized by SmartFood. For schedule risk, there will be a reduction in control. Scope and schedule are to be thoroughly vetted and planned with use of expert opinion to ensure quality of baselines established. Financial risk. There will be avoidance. If the funds dry up, SmartFood must walk away from the project while investment is sought. Contingency. Funds are to be saved for uncertainty of certain project activities. Resource risk, as we do not do localization services, we transfer the risk to the localization vendor. They have the capacity and capability to perform this process. And environmental. If there is a rejection of our update, we will collaborate with the marketing team to promote the application. In conclusion, this project brings value and strategic alignment to the organization, helping SmartFood gain market share with a focused differentiation approach. We are confident in our ability to execute the project through strong planning, process, and project and program governance. Our vision is to become the worldwide leader in app-based on-demand food delivery, and this project helps us align with and realize our ambitious goals.